Hi everyone, my name is Cyprian, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make the Cumberland ski hat. This is a really easy design that consists mostly of single crochet and triple crochet. So once the base of the hat is finished, I'll show you how to add the ear flaps, braided ties, and attach the pom pom. I also show you how to do the pom pom if you're not sure. Okay, so to get started on the adult size, you're actually going to need an entire skein of this yarn. So if you're not using this yarn, you're going to want to make sure that you have at least 200 meters and maybe get a little bit more so that you can account for any changes. I'm going to be using a 6.5 for the base of the hat and then moving down to a 6 millimeter for the ear flaps. And that's just going to make those a little bit warmer. My crochet hooks that I'm using today are by Clover. I buy them in packages from Michael's actually when I can get a good coupon, but I have recently switched from the Susan Bates that I've used for over 10 years to these hooks, and I just find them really, really comfortable with the grip, and I find that they make the stitches easier to make. And then you'll just need the regular supplies of your stitch marker and your needles. Now, this pattern today is super, super easy, but it is not a beginner tutorial. You're going to need to know how to do the stitches. So you can definitely slow the video down if I'm moving too fast, or for other people, maybe I'm moving too slow, speed the video up and go at your own pace. So we're going to be demonstrating the adult size today. And we're just going to start with our 6.5 millimeter hook. And as I mentioned before, we're going to be making the adult size. So this hat is made working from the very top, where we do very quick increase rounds, and then we'll continue on for the base of the hat and then on to the ear flaps. So to get started, you can use a magic circle if you are used to that technique. And if you're like me and can't master the magic circle, then I like to use the chain 2 method. So we're just going to chain 2, and then what we're going to do is work 15 double crochet into that second chain from the hook. So I'll go ahead and work those. And what you can do also is you can actually work over this tail of the yarn, and that will help you to close the center when you're done. So you might have to work a few double crochet until you get there, but eventually you'll reach it, and then just start working over top of that tail. And then when you pull it, it's going to close that center circle for you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish my 15 double crochet, and then we'll meet up for the second round. Okay, so I'll see you soon. Okay, so I've gone ahead and that's the 15, and you'll see that there is still that little hole in the center. So if you pull on this tail, it's going to close that hole. Okay. And then what we're going to be doing is we're doubling our stitches in round 2. So you're going to be working in every stitch around, and the top of the hat will definitely ripple when you're doing increases this quickly. But then as you work on the sides, you'll see that the ripple straightens out. So we're going to start in our first double crochet, and we're going to be working a stitch combination of a triple crochet and a single crochet, and those are going to be worked into the same stitch. So you're just going to go in, do your triple crochet and your single crochet right back into that same stitch there. Okay, and if you like, this is a good time to put in your stitch marker, and you're just going to slide that in. It just takes the guesswork out and makes it easier when you're coming to the end of the round. So in the following stitch, you're going to work that same stitch pattern. So you're going to do your triple crochet, followed by your single crochet right back into that same stitch. So that's all you're doing for round 2. You're going to work that same stitch combination into each double crochet around. So I'm going to go off camera and finish that up, and I'll meet up with you for round 3. Okay, so I just finished round 2 and I have 30 stitches around, and I just want to show you the other side. Well, you will have seen your own other side, but it makes these really cute bumps. And when you work this pattern with worsted weight, like the slouch hat that I also have on the YouTube channel, it actually could be a really cute reversible hat. For the chunky yarn, I think that these are just a little bit too big, but what it does do is it gives you a little bit of extra warmth in the hat. Okay, so we can move on to round 3. For round 3, we're going to start in our first stitch here using that same stitch combination. So we're going to triple crochet, followed by single crochet, and then we're going to skip the single crochet, working into that triple crochet there. We're going to do another triple crochet, followed by a single crochet. Let's put our stitch marker in before we get too far. Back 4 stitches, and you're just going to do that all the way around. So just be sure that you're only working into the triple crochet stitches here and skipping the single crochets. So I'll go off camera and just finish that one up, and we'll meet up for round 4. Okay, so I just finished round 3 and I have the same stitch count as round 2, so you should still have 30 stitches. Now, moving on to round 4, we are going to double our stitch count again to 60, and that will be the end of our increases. So we're just going to work that exact same stitch pattern, and this time we're going to work it into every stitch around. So you're going to be working it into that first treble crochet or triple crochet, and then just put your stitch marker in. Okay, and then you're going to work the same into the single crochet. Okay, just work that stitch combination in every stitch around. So you're going to be working triple crochets and single crochets in every stitch around. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll meet up for the sides of the hat. So at the end of round 4, you should have 60 stitches. Okay, so I have just finished round 4 and I have 60 stitches. Now we're going to be moving on to the rest of the hat. So this is when you see the texture really coming together. You do see it a bit here, but sometimes I'll get emails from people saying that their hat doesn't look the same as mine. And that's because when you're doing the increases so quickly, the texture, of course, looks slightly different. Okay, so we have finished round 4, and now we're going to be moving on to the sides of the hat. Now all we're going to be doing is working the exact same way for every round, but this time we're only going to be working into the triple crochets. So you're going to work a triple crochet into that first triple crochet, and then work a single crochet into that same stitch. So you're working the same stitch pattern as we've been working all along, but like I said, you're going to be working only into the triple crochets and then skipping the single crochets. I just washed my hands so the yarn is sticking to them. Okay, so you're going to work a triple crochet in there. We're going to work the rounds till you finish 14 rounds or 15. If you're making it for yourself, you can try it on, but you'll find that the hat is a little bit short, and the reason that is we're adding ear flaps, and if we make the hat long enough to cover our ears, that means that our ear flaps are going to start at our earlobes. So it is going to look and feel a little bit strange. When you're finished, you're going to look at it and think it looks short, but that's the way it's supposed to be. because we're adding ear flaps. So like I said, just go and keep checking your stitch count at every round and keep working into the tall stitch there, which is your triple crochet. Work your triple crochet and single crochet until you finish 14 or 15 rounds, and then we'll meet up and do the ear flap. So I'm going to finish up the base of my hat tonight, and then tomorrow I'm going to come back and finish off the rest. Okay, good luck, and I'll see you soon. Okay, so it's the next day, and I finished the base of my hat last night. And so now is when you want to switch to the 6mm hook. And the reason that we're doing that is you can see the hat kind of goes out. We want to bring those sides in so it has a nice snug fit against your hat. Okay, so all we're going to do for the next round is change to our 6mm hook, and we're just going to work a single crochet into every stitch around. So after we do this round, we'll meet up and we'll do the ear flaps, and then we will move on to the ties and the pom pom. And then of course, if you know how to do the ties and the pom pom, then we'll be saying goodbye. Okay, so I'm just going to go off camera and finish this up. Okay, so, excuse me. Now that you've finished the round of single crochet, we're going to move on to the ear flaps, and those are going to be worked in rows. So all we want to do, these are super easy, is slip stitch into the next stitch. You're going to chain one and single crochet back into that same space where you just did the slip stitch. And then you're going to single crochet in the next 13 stitches so that you have 14 in total. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's just check. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. So I've done 14 single crochets across, and we're going to chain one in turn. Now, in the pattern, it says to skip the first stitch. So if you prefer to do a decrease, you can definitely do one, but I just feel like skipping it works as well. It's a little bit lazier. And this is your chain stitch. So you're not going to work in there. You're going to skip this stitch here and work in the next. And then single crochet into each stitch across. And this will decrease every row by 1 stitch. Now, all you want to do is continue this way all the way until you have reached only 1 stitch left. So you're going to skip the first single crochet at the start of each row and single crochet across to the end, chain one and turn, and then you're going to continue until only 1 stitch remains. So I'm going to go off camera and finish off this ear flap. And then when we get to the next one, I'll show you how many to count over, and I'll show you the placement of that ear flap. Okay, we'll see you soon. Okay, so I just finished that ear flap, just like that. Now what you want to do is lay your hat flat. Let's steal the stitch marker from here, seeing as I don't need it here anymore. We're going to start at the beginning of the ear flap here, and with the right side of the hat facing you. So this side here, not the part with the nubbies. I feel like my camera keeps going out of focus. Not this part, because this is the inside, unless you wanted to make it the outside. I mean, it is cute. So you're going to start here, and you're going to count 20 stitches to the left from the first stitch of the ear flap. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, let's put a stitch marker in there. And I have to pause because I gotta grab my scissors. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're joining the yarn into that stitch with a slip stitch. Oop, that's getting in the way. And then we're going to crochet a single crochet right back into that space. And then we're doing the exact same thing as we did with the last ear flap. So you're going to work 13 more stitches, so you'll have 14 in total for this ear flap. So we'll go ahead and do that, and I'll meet up with you in a second. Okay, I want to just point something out. You'll notice here that there's not the same amount of space from the front and the back of the ear flap to the middle front and the middle back. The ear flaps are set back a little further from the front of the hat because otherwise they'd be covering your face. So when you're done, if you're adding a tag or anything, just make sure that you do it on the right side of the hat because you wouldn't want to attach your beautiful tags to the back. So just look for the part that has a few more stitches, and that's the front. Okay, so moving on with the ear flap, you're just going to do the exact same thing. You're going to chain one and turn, skip the first stitch, and then work in the second. So just continue to do a decrease in every row and all the way down to one single crochet. So once we finish this ear flap, we'll come back and we'll finish the base of the hat. We just have one more round to do, and then we'll move on to the ties and the pom pom. Okay, we'll see you soon. Okay, so now that we finished our second ear flap, all we're going to be doing now is working a round of single crochet all the way around the hat. But something I want to point out quickly, and this is just giving it a nice finishing edge. I don't actually go into every stitch. I go into where my hoe fits easily. So that, see this knot here, I'll just crochet in the next all the way around. What you want to do is make sure that where your ear flap connects to the hat, that you're doing 2 or 3 single crochets in there, because if you don't, you could end up inadvertently lifting the ear flap a little bit, and you want it to lay nice and flat. So I'll just show you what that looks like. Okay, so this is where I joined, and what I'm going to do is I typically work 2 single crochets into the corner, and that just helps me bring it around to the base of the hat, and then I'll continue working single crochets all the way around. So I'm going to finish this up. You're going to do the same thing in every corner where the ear flaps meet the hat. Just remember to work the 2 single crochets into there. So I'm going to finish that up and then come back and we'll work on the ties. Okay, so I finished working my single crochets all the way around. We're just going to join to the very first single crochet and fasten off. And that is the base of the hat done. Okay. So you can weave in your ends at this point if you want, or you can move on to the ties for the hat. So what you're going to do for the ties is you're going to be cutting lengths of about 30 inches. And then, of course, they'll be folded in half and then they'll be trimmed. So they'll come out shorter. So you're going to cut 18 pieces of yarn, 30 inches or longer. So I'm going to go do that and we'll meet up and I'm going to show you where and how to attach them to the hat. Okay, so what you want to do for the ties is you want to make sure that when you're attaching them, that you're always going in through the same side of the hat. So I like to start at the back of the hat, and I'll tell you why in a second. Pull those loops through, and then grab them and pull the yarn through. And I'm using 2 strands, so you'll be putting 3 of those around. So the reason I like to go in from behind is because you get this nice tidy looking knot that's going to be on the right side of the hat instead of the way this looks here. I don't know. I just think that looks nicer. So you're going to repeat that into this stitch here and this stitch here, and then you're going to braid it. And I'll come back and show how to braid and what I do to keep it tidy, just in case you need help with that. Okay, see you soon. Okay, so I've attached all 3 of them that you can see here, and I just like to lay everything out. You know, it might be a good idea to weave in those ends first. I just like to lay everything flat, get all the knots out, and then just very gently make my braid. I don't pull it too tight because then um, sometimes it'll become a little bit messy if you're not using the same tension all the way down when you're braiding it. So just keep checking that these are laying flat, these strands. Of course, you can braid it any way you want. I'm just showing you how I do mine. Okay. Now that I am near the bottom of the top, I have a spare piece of yarn here, and I'm going to tie a knot, keeping one end longer because that's the end that we're going to wrap around so that it looks nice and finished. So just do a double knot. And then, so just take the piece of yarn and wrap it around to cover up that knot. Make sure that this is long enough. I think this one's going to be a bit short to do it the way I normally do, but I'll show you anyways. Okay, so just thread your needle. I think there's a different way of doing this. It's some sort of macrame knot. If you know or have other ideas of how to do this, I'd love to hear in the comments below because this is just the way I've always done it, but secretly feel there's a better way. So I just go back and forth like this. And I usually will just put the needle like over top of one of these and work it back and forth. All right. And then that is your tassel done. Just what you're going to do is when you get the second one, lay them side by side and then just trim this off so that it's nice and even. If you're not sure how to use a pom pom maker, I'm going to show you how I use mine right now. And of course, you can also use a piece of cardboard. This is a massive pom pom maker. I have different sizes, and I did use smaller ones for the other hats that you saw in the photos. So you can do it a couple of ways. You can make a larger pom pom and then trim it down, which is what I used to do. But yarn being as expensive as it is, you don't want to be wasting yarn. So all you do is open this up and then take your yarn and wrap it around here. So just keep wrapping it around. I'll go ahead and do this, and then I'll show you what to do when you get to the other side. Okay, I just want to show you here, as you're using this pom pom maker, what you want to do is fill it enough so that it just touches the edge, but isn't tight against the edge. That's going to stop you from wasting any yarn and having to do too much shaping. It took me a long time to realize this. It's all my hair in there. Gross. So just do it till you can touch the edge gently here. But if you want like a super thick pom-pom, then what you are going to do is overfill this so it's almost hard to, let me just show you here. So that when you close it, if you feel resistance, a lot of resistance, that's when you're going to get that super dense pom-pom, but it's also going to come out almost like an oval. So you're going to need to shape that and cut it back, but you will have that really full look. But this pom-pom's huge, so I'm not going to do that today. So I'm going to keep filling this. And if you've got this side to the point that you want it to be, so what you want to do is finish so that your yarn is on this side so that you can easily carry over onto the other side here. I'm going to finish up this side and then this one, and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so I finished filling both sides of the pom-pom maker. This is how much yarn I have left, so I actually stopped a little sooner than I normally would, but I am reaching the sides, like I said. So anyway, you're going to want a very sharp pair of scissors for this. I don't know where my big ones are, so I'm hoping these ones work. And just make sure that the sides are pushed in nicely. Oh, dang. These scissors work so good. Oh, that is, oh, love it. I know, I'm getting excited over scissors, but I got these at a fabric store when they were on a super sale, and I don't know how to sharpen them, so I don't think I'm going to keep using it for this. Anyways, so that's just snap, crackle, pop all the way around. Then you want to get a long piece of string. And the reason you want this to be long is that this is what you're going to use to both tie the pom-pom and attach it to your hat. And I don't know what is wrong with my judgment today, but I think this is on the short side. So what you're going to do is just wrap the yarn. I know I said string. wrap the yarn around here and tie a knot as tight as you can. If you're using a yarn that's going to snap, find some other yarn that you can pull as tight as you can that it's not going to break, because you do not want to be breaking your pom-pom and you need it to be as tight as possible. So with that tied, here's where the magic happens. Let's open this up on both sides. I love this. And just open it up like this. And find your 2 strands of yarn and hang on to them because you don't want to trim those. So that is almost a perfect shape. Maybe a little bigger than I want because I'm going to wear this pom-pom, this hat. I don't really have an issue with it, but if it's too big, it may flop around when you're wearing it. So just look around and trim those bits off. And now there is 2 ways to do this, to attach to your hat, but I'm just going to show you the simplest way because not everybody has buttons, and I'm not even finished the hat yet. I've still got to weave in the ends and such, but it's almost dinner time, so I want to try and get this done. Okay, so hanging on to these 2 long ends, what you're going to do is find the top center of the hat, and you're going to be pulling a string through opposite sides. So just poke your crochet hook through here and pull that strand all the way through and pull it through on the other side. And while you're hanging on to it, find where the opposite side is. So just pinch that so it doesn't slide out. And I'm actually grabbing everything underneath to hold it tight while I grab this other strand and pull it through. Now I've got 2 and working from the inside of the hat. And I'm going to suggest again that you weave in the ends as you go. It just makes it easier. And then what I like to do is just tie it in a bow. And then that way, when I wash the hat, if I need to wash the hat, if this is for a kid, I'm sure you're going to need to, you can simply undo the bow and pull it off. And I just flattened it, but it can be fluffed up again. The hat done. I'm going to finish this off and then I'm going to take some photos.
Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out these videos next. And until next time, bye-bye.